Hi, my name is Erin, and this is Lesson 2 of the Hazards on the Homefront Teacher Guide for grades 4 through 6. The guide was developed by the local hazardous waste management program in King County. In Lesson 1, students learned what makes a product hazardous. Lesson 2, on pages 23 through 37 of your guide, teaches students how to read the product label to identify the level of hazard in a product and the precautions to consider when using that product. The goal of this lesson is that we buy the product with the lowest level of hazard as shown on the label. This lesson contains an entry point activity and 4 30 to 60-minute investigations, plus 1 take-home assignment. Adaptations for English language learners are also available for this lesson. By the end of the lesson, students will be familiar with what type of information is on a household product label and will compare labels on different types of household products. They'll design their own product label and determine effective ways to present product information to others. Each investigation ends with discussion questions and reflection prompts. Additional student assessment and lesson extension ideas are included at the end of the lesson. Introduce this lesson by filling one clear container with water and a second clear container with apple juice. For the second container, you could also use water that has been dyed gold. Ask students to guess what's inside the jars by their appearance, clear and gold liquids. Common student guesses for the clear liquid include water, vinegar, bleach, and ammonia. Common student guesses for the gold liquid include apple juice, pine sol, soap, and orange citrus cleaner, and antifreeze. Discuss why product labels are important. Make sure students understand that labels help us identify if a product is hazardous, how to use it properly, and the type of first aid to apply in case of an accident. Investigation 2A, titled Anatomy of Labels, asks students to answer the question, what kind of information is on the label of a household product? To begin this investigation, have students read the Flush Away label student handout on page 31. Use this sample label to show the type of information students will be looking for on product labels. You could ask questions such as, do you see any part of the label that is in bold type? What do you think it means that the information is in bold? And can you find a signal word on this label? Use slide 2.2 as a reference for identifying other label requirements, such as directions for use, principal hazards, first aid instructions, and precautionary statements. Next, divide the class into pairs. Give each pair an empty product container or a sample product label from Appendix D in the guide. You can borrow a tub of empty products from King County or make your own using the instructions on page 6 of the guide. Create a class chart using paper under the document camera, a dry erase or smartboard, or on butcher paper, using the household product labels data sheet on page 32 as a model. Ask students to provide the information from their product labels for this class chart. For example, if students say that caution is on their product label, list caution in the signal words category on the chart. If students say that their label contains keep away from children or avoid contact with skin, place that information in the precautionary statements column. Put advertising claims such as eco-friendly or all-natural under a category called Other. Continue filling out the chart until each column contains examples provided by the students. Now, use slide 2.1 to discuss the 4 signal words. If necessary, you can use slides 1.1 to 1.4 in Lesson 1 to review the principal hazards. Point out to students that advertising claims can be deceptive. Products advertised as green or natural may contain some organic ingredients, but may also contain ingredients that are harmful to the environment or to human health. An optional student assessment quiz is included on pages 33 through 34 of the guide. For English language learners, ask students to sort hazardous products by comparing the signal words or lack of them, to the colors of a traffic light: red, yellow, and green. Send home the household products label data sheet on page 32 of your guide with your students. Also, send the parent letter from lesson 1 on page 13 if you haven't done so already. Ask students to find at least 3 products in their home or garage and record the information for each on the data sheet. Caution students not to open, inhale, or even touch the contents of the container, and to wash their hands when they're finished with the assignment. Investigation 2B, titled Comparing Labels, asks students, do all products have the same information on the label? From the household product labels data sheet they completed as homework, students will select one product they consider the most hazardous and add it to the class chart from the first investigation. Analyze the results when the chart is complete. Are all the sections filled in for all products? If not, why are some sections blank? For example, if a product label doesn't list a signal word or first aid instructions, is it because the product is safe? Is it a personal care product? Or is it an older product not covered under current labeling regulations? Review the background information provided in Appendix C, titled Who and What Determines What Our Product Labels Say. While the information may be too complex to convey in detail to students, explain to them that products are regulated by one of 3 different agencies, each with its different requirements. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, regulates pesticides, a category that also includes herbicides and fungicides. You can see that pesticide labels have a significant amount of information. The Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, regulates drugs, food, and personal care products such as shampoo, hair dye, or anything you put in or on your body. These products are not required to use signal words, but often have precautionary statements such as caution or keep out of reach of children. All other products, including household cleaners, paints, varnishes, are regulated by the Consumer Product Safety Commission. Investigation 2C, titled Designer Labels, asks students to design a product label and a container for a fictitious household substance. The product should be hazardous, and the label should include all of the elements discussed and recorded on the data sheets. During Investigation 2D, the Label Style Show, the student designers will present a short 1 or 2 minute commercial or presentation to convince the class to buy the product based on the label's information. To increase student understanding of the activity, have them create their own scoring guide for assessing the design and presentation of their product. A sample of a student-generated scoring guide is included on page 35 of the guide. A fun extension activity to enliven a class and test student knowledge is the label reading game on page 36 in the guide. Students will become a product by having a label taped to their back. They are not allowed to see the label beforehand. The object of the game is for students to correctly identify the name, signal word or words, and principal hazard of the product whose label they are wearing. Students will circulate through the room asking their classmates yes or no questions about the product represented on the label taped to their back. Sample questions listed in the guide include, would you use me on a lawn or in a garden? Do you use me to kill a pest? Am I toxic? Or am I used on or in a car? Consider highlighting the signal words and principal hazards on the labels prior to the game to make it easier for students to locate the information. Once students have determined which product they represent, you could offer a bonus point if they identify a safer alternative to their product. Download sample student materials, ELL lesson adaptations, and other useful information at your.kingcounty.gov/solidwaste/hazards.